many of you have ever seen a grasshopper or a locust per se? These two organisms have the same distinctive features. They all have strong hind limbs. I constantly believe that because we are living organisms, we tend to share some characteristics with animals. That's my own hypothesis. So if you look at a grasshopper, basically from the fact that it's green, leave alone the locust, the grasshopper has strong hind limbs that enable it to jump as high as half the size of a tree, let's say a mango tree. If you take a grasshopper and immerse it inside a tin or within a house, it will strive to jump in a manner that it can attain its not financial freedoms are mine. Nimezoea finance sana. It will strive to jump to a point whereby it requires its own freedom. So the grasshopper will be hitting its head inside the tin or that house. It will be jumping high, hitting its head. Jumping, hitting, jumping, hitting. I don't know if they do collapse or faint. I don't know if organisms do faint like us, but I understand that they begin to acclimatize to that environment, that this is who we are. Interestingly, the grasshopper will have offsprings, and the offsprings will be seeing the rate at which their parents are jumping with. So they'll begin to also jump like the parents without knowing that they can jump higher than that. So let's say the tin is 30 centimeters long. So they'll begin to jump within the tin because of that limited environment which deprives them of their what? Of their freedom. So the grasshoppers will begin to adapt to such an environment to a point whereby they can't jump higher. So from my perspective, I believe that human beings are like grasshoppers because we share some characteristics. So because you're in an environment that is covered within a tin, an environment that's limiting, you tend to jump at a rate at which you see other people jumping it. It's a fact that if you're the best person, we could see this in high school, that if you are the best person in a certain subject, if you would go out to a certain symposium, those guys would literally beat you up. Why? Because you are a champion in an environment of scarcity. So, in an environment of abundance, the grasshoppers are jumping way too high because they're not limited with the tin. If you saw the East Africa's invasion of the locusts, you could see how the migration was impactful to them, not to the farmers, to them, to the grasshoppers. No, it was the locusts. Okay, let's agree it's the locusts. So you could see immensely how the locusts were migrating to different areas and tearing down the crops. So if you take a locust per se that hasn't adapted to such an environment, it will be among the last because it basically has adapted to an environment that is limited. So most people in life have the growth mindset. They have the goals, but they are in the environment of scarcity. They can't do what needs to be done because they are limited. They are limited within the tin. They're limited from the mind. So, my challenge to you is have a growth mindset and fix yourself, force yourself, don't even fix yourself, force yourself in an environment whereby you can compete with people beyond your means. I happen to have been doing graphic designs for a while, but trust you me, if I go to an environment whereby there are strong graphic designers, nakuwa uko chini, bottom last. Why? It's because they are able to compete in an environment that they have full resources.